Morning. So how are you guys doing? Just in general, how are you guys? Brittany just got married.
Hi.
Married. That's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Do you feel like all the stress is like a little bit like that's all done now?
Yeah, it's
Good.
nice.
That's good. So how are you guys feeling in general in terms of like workouts, nutrition, habits, consistency? I know a lot of you guys there were some good questions about habits, consistency, that kind of thing. But just in general, how are you feeling right now with everything that you're in terms of CC and then this side group? What's the vibe? How are you feeling? And you can totally speak. You can type whatever works best for you. Hi, Bryn. There's pretty Bryn. Whoever wants to go. I'll sit and wait all night.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'll say the last few weeks for me, both for workouts and eating and nutrition, everything, have been a little off. I think it's more to do with just like my whole schedule had been thrown off. Like I'd been getting to bed later, which meant I was getting up later, which meant like it threw off all my schedule and I'd run out of time to go to the gym because I work out at work, but the gym closes at 7:30 and I'm not a morning person, so I'm not working out in the morning. And so I know I've had a lot of frustration with that. Nutrition-wise, so for me, when it comes to cooking and everything, I like to cook in the beginning of the week, and then I have my meals set out for the rest of the week, so I don't have to worry about being up all night cooking and preparing meals and everything, which is nice because it means consistent, but sometimes whenever I put in my nutrition information into like MyFitnessPal and it comes out to be a little bit lower protein than I expect. It's sometimes harder to find ways to add it back in because I don't usually go to the store again. So for me, it's just trying to figure out like what's the right amount of stuff I should be buying, and also just trying to watch what I eat in that way.
Right. So knowing that usually it's not as much protein that you should be hitting, are there other ways that maybe you could think and plan ahead so when you buy for the week, like snacks or stuff like that, or things to add to your meals that you prep that you already know if you're not hitting it, just little things to add? And my suggestion is always add portions of what you're already eating if you have a hard time adding more food. Like some people don't like to add more snacks or things, so then I say we'll just add a portion of whatever, like your meal, the protein that's in your meal, because then it's easier to fit in because like you're already eating it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I've been trying out like different things to have as snacks and still trying to kind of find the right things that work. I always keep nuts in my office, so that's always a backup if I don't have anything else.
That's good.
So.
Yeah. Okay. How's anyone else feeling? Who wants to go? And I'll get into all like the main questions and the main topics, but I want to give everyone a chance to say how they're feeling. Heather says it's a lot balancing both, and I tend to prioritize my workouts over my eating because sometimes I feel like it's either one or the other. Like it's like doing both is a lot at once. Okay. Does anyone else ever feel like that? It's like they got their workouts great, but then their nutrition not so hot, or their nutrition is good and then their workouts are not so hot. Brandon was like nodding. So to me then that it feels like it's the mindset of, and this is all about how we can switch our mindset around this stuff. So it feels like you know that you can make these amazing habits because you have been doing it, and you rocked like the first 2 months, right? And then you had a mini break, and then it took a while for you to get back into the workouts, and that's totally normal. So you know you can develop these habits because you did it. So you already have proof that you can do it in definitely the fitness area. And then with nutrition, it's a little bit more trial and error because it's a little bit more individualized. It's a little more, how am I going to fit this? What foods do I like? How much? It's a little more trial and error. So it's a little bit more quote unquote harder to master nutrition sometimes, for most people anyways. So what if you looked at it like your health, your nutrition, and your workouts are non-negotiables for you as a healthy woman. Like that, it was just like a no-brainer that when you marked in your workouts and good eating, that you just did it. Like you didn't overthink it, that it wasn't hard, that it wasn't like one or the other. It was just like, that's just who I am. It's just what I do is eat well and I work out. What if that's just who you are? Right? Then it wouldn't be having to choose or a black and white thing. It's just like, this is who I am. And so I'm not saying that you need to be perfect all the time, right? It's finding your own balance. But what if the reality of who Heather is, Bryn, Brittany, Amy, whoever, is just like, this is what I do. This is my norm. What if that was the mindset, right? And then it's not necessarily about choosing to prioritize. You've already chosen to prioritize. So it was like, it's non-negotiables to eat this way and to work out X amount, whatever your desired amount is a week, right? So why do you think, Heather, why do you think that it tends to feel like one or the other? To me, when it feels like one or the other, it feels like sometimes it's like, it's hard to embody, or you're not integrating it into your life in a way that you're like, I want to do this because it makes me feel good. And I know that that's why you want to do it.
Yeah, I think it's just the time that it takes. Like my workouts have been like 60 to 90 minutes, like 5 to 6 times a week. And that is already adding a huge amount of time. Whereas before I had that time free to maybe to cook or to do other things. And so like now on top of the 90 minutes, I need to add like however much more time it takes to cook everything and like make sure my macros are, I'm hitting the protein and all of that. So I think for me, it's a time thing. A time
thing. So what happens then? So once you guys get into a groove, especially, and it's, I won't stop preaching protein, but once you find like certain meals and foods that fit really good into like your balanced diet, it will be less like trying to figure out the macros. You know what meals fit and generally how much they are. So that should reduce some time prepping and calculating and trial and error. I think that we should try and work on getting your workouts down to 60 minutes. They shouldn't be 90. And if that means that, this is what I'll tell you now. I'll tell you the answer now is start from the bottom, like cut out exercises. And so start from the top, but I mean, cut out from the bottom. So start with the routines at the top, because those are your main compound ones. And once you hit where you look at the time when it's 45, I have 15 minutes left, then decide what you have left for and cut it off. I don't want you to have to be in the gym 90 minutes unless you're doing a full lifting session plus a full cardio session.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I don't want you to be in for 90. And so if there's certain things that are taking you longer, is it maybe resting longer? If there are things that you could shorten, maybe, or maybe it's just taking you long because sometimes gyms are set up that way that you've got to move from here to here, and it's adding time in between when you could be doing your reps and sets. But my advice, if it's taking that long, start from the bottom of the workout, because the bottom is your accessory movement. So it's working the smaller muscles, which is still important to work, but you're going to get a bigger bang for your buck when you work on like the squats, the deadlifts, the bench press, the things that are near the top, and prioritize those. And over time, if you on a Saturday, for example, you want to spend 90 minutes in the gym, then sure, like do the whole routine plus more. But I don't want you to have to spend 90 minutes in the gym.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. And then I know, because we were talking too, once we switched your macros after the first, it was the first few weeks, and we switched it, and then you're finding like to revamp things again, and you're doing really well with the trial and the error and figuring it out. So I want to commend you for that, for really giving an effort for adjusting your eating habits.
Yeah.
And then for everyone, the all or nothing kind of approach, I think, like, is it really all or nothing? Like, are you really out for a week and you ate crappy for a full week straight, or is it just like a few times a week? Because I think we tend to over exaggerate when we say all or nothing sometimes. And it's actually you're doing better than you think you are. Okay. Bryn says, I'm having a hard time with protein. I did start reaching 100 gram, but those days I felt so sick. Maybe it's too much for my body. I increased my protein by increasing my protein powder. That's good. And tofu, because that's what I've been doing in the past. Maybe it's because I'm vegan and intermittent fasting. I also tend to eat a lot before my period starts, and it throws me off so much, which is what I'm experiencing right now. I have so many bad cravings during this time. I also haven't found a pure protein as a vegan. It usually still has carbs and fat, so that increases a lot when I increase my protein. I'm trying to lose weight and hopefully have abs, so I'm not sure if I'm going towards that with what I'm currently doing. Okay. So I think, Bryn, I don't remember your exact numbers, but when you started, your protein was like half of 100 grams. Like it was, or even more than, like less than half. Like it was very little protein. So when you're eating 100 grams on a day, your body is like, whoa, like it's not used to it. So your body is getting used to digesting the protein. So your body, that could be why you weren't feeling very well, and that's normal. So maybe instead of trying to reach for 100, maybe try and reach for like 70 or 75, or a number that's not as big as 100. So your body adjusts. So you are intermittent fasting, which means you have a smaller window that you're eating. So that could also mean that, again, your body is still digesting the food that you ate before, and then you have a smaller window. So that could definitely play a role in it as well. I'm not sure how you're doing your intermittent fasting. I'm not sure like if you're snacking a lot or if you're eating bigger meals, because that could play a role with it too. Like how much you're eating at once could maybe not feel so good for you. But I'm really happy that you've been able to increase the protein with the food that you normally eat, like the protein powder and the tofu. If you like that, that's really good, and stick with it. But if you feel like it's too much and it doesn't feel good, then maybe hit 75, and that I would still consider good, especially how much you've been working up to 100. Who here gets cravings before their period? And then all of a sudden they're like, why am I getting all these cravings? And then you get your period and you're like, oh, okay, that's why. So what you can do, this is for every woman, is first of all, well, the hardest thing is when we get the cravings, we don't realize why we're getting them. If we realized why we were getting them, we'd be like, oh, this is why I'm not going to go, binge out on all the chocolate. Okay. But what we can do is try our best to recognize when we're having cravings. And when you're craving something, ask yourself, am I hungry or am I not hungry? If you're not hungry, then you say, okay, this is a craving, and I'm craving to eat right now. I'm craving to eat, quote unquote, junk food, or whatever you want to call it. Then I would give yourself a half an hour and go do something. Go drink water, go distract yourself, go do something. And in a half an hour, you're still like, I want the food. Go have the food. I'd rather you do that than like be thinking about the food forever, and then the next day go and just like eat more than you would have. So it's okay to give into those cravings. It's okay, but in a balanced way that you don't feel like, oh, I just ate all of that. Does that make sense? Right? So I think one, brings self-awareness to it, and just like, I'm noticing that I'm having this craving. It's not bad, but I'm going to give myself like at least a half an hour. And if in a half an hour you forget about it, the next day you're going to be like, oh yeah, I had this craving and then I distracted myself. I guess I wasn't actually hungry, or I didn't actually really want it. Right? And sometimes, again, during that time of the month, or also cravings are normal. Like, we're humans. We like food, and we're going to want to crave whatever we crave. So avoiding them is just going to ask for a bad relationship with food, restricting, binging, all that kind of stuff. And we don't want that. So I say, have it, and have it in a balanced way. Brittany, you're wearing your scrunchie.
I am.
Does that help? So, we are women, and that time of the month, it's normal for our body to want certain foods. So don't ignore the natural hunger cues, but just be self-aware. So don't make it a week that it's completely like all the junk, right? Like we have control over that. But give yourself some grace and know that you can have that and still reach your goals in a balanced way. And then in terms of your question about the protein, so you found a protein, but it still has carbs and fat. And then, so I think, Brandon, I'd have to look up what you're eating, and I don't know if you filled it in recently. Do you like, I don't think you eating a protein that has a little bit of carbs and fat is going to make you go over your calories and not be able to reach your goals. Right? I still think you'll be able to fit that into your daily intake. And so you're eating big meals. Okay. Try 70 grams. Yeah. So I don't think that you're overeating. I think you're undereating or around maintenance. So I wouldn't worry too much if the only protein you find now has more carbs and fat than another protein. That's fine. I'd rather you hit your protein and have that than worry about it. And guys, the thing too is when we're adjusting, playing with calories and macros, our body is going to adjust. Our body's taking time to get used to a new way of eating. To most of you all eating more, because most of you were under eating, right? And was that shocking for you guys to see that you were under eating? Yeah, no, yes, some were no, right? So we, as women, are taught like 1,100, 1,200. We're just like given that baseline out of nowhere. And depending on our sizes, like our body types, how tall we are, how much we weigh, how active we are, our body, the way we function, we do need actually a lot more. And so the thing is that we're taught by diet culture that less is more. Let's eat less to lose weight. But like, are you going to keep decreasing calories till it's zero? Right? That doesn't make sense. Our body stops over time. So what happens when we tend to undereat for a long period of time is our body gets used to running off of a really low amount of calories, and then it stops responding to a change in diet. It stops responding to exercise. So that's why increasing your calories, sometimes women might see weight loss when they increase their calories, because all of a sudden their body is like, oh, I have more energy in the gym. My body is like burning more. That kind of thing happens. So again, if you're not filling out the chart or being honest, I don't know. But what I do know is that when we increase slowly, and what I've given most of you is at least to reach maintenance or get the protein up, is that your body's going to start to respond in really, really good ways. And this comes with consistency and doing it for a long time. Unfortunately. And we want the results quicker than what they are to be. So an example for me, at the beginning of the year, I started to increase my calories by maybe like 200 or 300, and my body, my weight didn't change, but my strength increased, right? My muscle definition started to show more, and my energy increased. So sometimes we might think, oh, I don't want to eat more because I'm going to gain weight. That might happen at the beginning, and that's your body holding on to water and getting used to maybe more carbs or just calories in general. But over time, it really does even out and it does balance out. Okay. So a lot of good things were brought up there, Bryn. That's really good. Brittany, do you have any insights or anything that you want to say how you're feeling?
I've been struggling a bit trying to get back on track after the craziness of the wedding.
Yeah.
And a thing that I struggle a bit with too is knowing like when I should eat, because I do all night shifts. So I'm working until 3:15 or 4:15 in the morning. And then I usually go to bed no later than 6 or 7 in the morning, wake up around 2 or 3. So it's just trying to figure out like when to actually have my meals. Yeah.
So I think the meals would depend on you, and you would know this the best of, so you'd want to have fuel in your body, I'm assuming, while you're working.
Yeah.
Like at least something to eat so you're good there. And then when are you working out? Do you like to eat? Do you need to have fuel like right before, or at least a meal a couple hours before you work out?
I was going to the gym right after my shift, so just found it worked best, and I could go home,
So
make breakfast.
if I were you, then I would eat like before your shift, during your shift if you need to, and then if when you train right after your work, and then you would come home, eat, and then go to sleep.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. So eating, if that's how your schedule is, to me, I would definitely get in like a good post workout after your training, because you just worked all night or all day and then worked out. And then I think fueling your body after that is a really good idea. And then you sleep. And then I would almost do it the same way. It's like your day is reversed. You slept at night, wake up, eat a meal, maybe not breakfast, but whenever you wake up, have like a lunch or whatever, to give your body, to get your body going as soon as you wake up. I would find a routine that feels good for your body, that you feel energized throughout the day. You know what I mean? For you.
Okay. It's just trying to, another hard thing too is wanting to have all the snacks at like 2 or 3 in the morning. So I'm just trying to get out of that habit as well, and just drinking more water throughout my shifts as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, it's one of those things, like it's a habit, and it's like, it's a habit, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's 2 or 3 and here's the time, it's break time or whatever. And to really just bring more awareness and check in with your body. Like, am I hungry right now? Am I hungry or am I not? Right. And then to ask yourself, like, if I'm hungry, then have a snack. If I'm not, then I don't need a snack right now.
Yeah.
And then if you work on maybe do you like to eat like 3 main meals?
Usually, yeah, and then maybe 1 or 2 small snacks.
Yeah. So finding a time that those 3 meals really energize you for your day and how your schedule is, and then base your snacks around whenever your body's telling you. So if that's 2 in the morning, great. If that's not, then skip the snack and add it to a meal, so you still get the calories in.
Okay.
Heather says she's trying to figure out a meal schedule too. Heather works 1 to 9 and work out in the morning when I wake up, 8 a.m., eating before I go to work during my lunch break. And then eating so close to going to bed has been hard for me, but I find I can't get my protein calories in unless I do. So you work 1 to 9. So you're eating before you go to work, during your break, and then when you come home. Yeah. And then you come home and that's after 9. And then that's close to bed, and that's hard for you. Okay. So what time so you wake up at 8 and you go to the gym right at 8?
Usually, yeah.
Ish.
Yeah.
Is there a possibility that you could have something small to eat when you wake up before you go to the gym?
I think I have to.
Have you been or no?
No, I have not. No.
Okay. So I think that you definitely could. So I would suggest eating something like a banana, a fruit, any kind of carb is really good before the gym, because you're going to burn it. The energy is going to be used right away, and it's not heavy. So maybe something like that. And to get your protein in, if you want it to be protein based, you could eat something like fruit and yogurt, right? Something like that. Or if you could quickly make up or like eggs or egg whites, or scrambled eggs with egg whites, something like that, like something that's light, because too much you're going to feel like heavy in the gym, and you don't want that, especially that early in the morning. But I think something like a fruit and some kind of protein, or if you can't get you can't find the right protein source in the morning, then just adjust what you're eating throughout the day. Like get in a carb or something in the morning, and that's calories, and then maybe later on is just more protein. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And I think that might actually help your workouts and your energy. And then the way that you spread out the rest of your meals will look differently, and you might actually feel a lot better throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
I think I say maybe start giving that a try and see how it feels for both the schedule and how you are feeling and hitting those numbers.
Yeah, I like that.
Cool. I like that too. I'm excited to hear how that goes. Okay. So I know Bryn asked this question, and it's very good. It's something to remind us all of the purpose of counting macros. And I kind of talked about it, but I want to dive in it a little bit deeper. So the purpose of this is, like I mentioned before, is most women will, if we're not taught or we're not brought awareness of how much we're eating, we don't know, right? Then we don't know. We're just kind of guessing. So one, we could be way, way, way under eating and not even realizing it. Or two, we could be way, way, way overeating. And then all of us in this community are working on fitness goals. So when we don't know how much we're eating, and then we're like, I'm trying to reach this fitness goal, and we don't know why we aren't seeing progress over a certain amount of time, it's hard to look at our food and not know what we're eating. So the number one, it brings awareness, so we know how much our body needs for our goals, and we work to reach those goals. So we have numbers. It's based off of science and math, the numbers to look off of to reach our goals. So instead of, I think for everyone, the goal is to eat intuitively in a place where you know how much you're giving your body. But instead of just eating whatever, now you know how much you need and you're able to track it and reach your fitness goals. That's really like the basics of it. And it's educating you again. Like, I know some of you are putting in your notes in the document, like, I never realized how much, carbs or calories were in this. Like, it's just bringing awareness to what you're eating. And again, it's not bad. It's not that X food has X amount of calories and that's bad. It's just awareness. So when you eat something now, you have more awareness of it. So you're mindless snacking and eating. You're like, oh, this is 300 calories. Oh my gosh. And you just thought it was just a little whatever, right? So it just brings more awareness to what you're eating and helps you reach your goals in a general sense. And so where everyone in this group is at, for the most part, you do not have to weigh your food to track macros. You can. It's definitely more accurate. However, you can still be pretty accurate just by measuring and by using the label on packages and using, for stuff like vegetables and meats. MyFitnessPal has really good general suggestions and recommendations of how much a cup of broccoli is, right? But when there's labels, definitely use the labels. Weighing is a little more accurate, but you don't have to. For where you guys are at, just measure and use the labels. If you get to a point, in my opinion, unless you're really trying to cut down for some kind of competition, you don't need to weigh. I don't weigh any food. Eric, my husband, he started to weigh, and he just to know if there was a big difference from weighing and not weighing, and there really wasn't that much of a difference. So if you're measuring pretty good, then that's perfect. Do you guys have any general questions around counting macros, the point of counting macros, that kind of thing? And then Heather, I know you had asked to talk about consistency and the mindset and limiting beliefs that we tend to have around food. And so that's what it was. Popular limiting beliefs around food that could hinder our success. So popular limiting beliefs around food, there's many. If I eat more, I'm not going to reach my goals. That's a popular limiting belief. The habits. So I think that we all get into habits of eating at certain times that we're not even hungry at those times. We just eat because it is a certain time. So here you might be thinking, well, Steph, we need to hit a certain number. So I need to eat at specific times, even when I'm not hungry. I really think it's important to do a mixture of both, of waiting for yourself. So if you're in a place right now and your tracking is not going well and you're still eating how you used to eat, I would try to back off from eating how you used to eat and really ask yourself, am I hungry in those times that you're always eating? Not always eating, but the times that you are eating on a routine basis. Because our bodies will tell us when we're hungry for the most part. And our bodies don't just tell us in terms of a growling stomach. It could be feeling tired for no reason, feeling dizzy, groggy, sleepy, irritable, can't concentrate, those types of things. Our body will say, oh, I need food. So if you're struggling to ever even feel hunger cues, I would say let yourself feel the hunger cues so you can know what it feels like to be hungry. And your body is going to say, okay, this is when I want to eat. And you're going to bring that back to how your body is functioning. Okay, so that's one thing. Another thing is we have control over the way we eat. And I think this is just me from working with women over the last 2 years. I think a lot of women say like, oh, I just can't break this habit, or I just can't do this, or I just can't do this. And it's really hard, so I don't do it. And it is hard. Changing a habit is super, super, super hard. It is. But we've really got to remind ourselves in the moments that we want to make a bad decision that we are working towards making a better change for ourselves. And that it's going to feel different and it's going to feel uncomfortable, and that's okay. So it's the same thing with starting a fitness habit. It's like a new nutrition habit. It's like, okay, now I'm going to go to the gym 5 times a week. Now it's like, okay, I can do that. Now let me see if I can instill these new nutrition habits in my life. And it's going to feel weird the first week. It's going to feel a little bit different, eating more, eating less, or eating at these times. But over time, it's going to become your new normal. That's one of the things I think with food is a little bit harder, and we get in our heads with food a little bit more like it's easier to just, oh, I'll eat this, or oh, I won't eat this. When we've really got to say, is this aligned with my goals, with my numbers, with my calories, with my protein? Is this aligned with my goals? That's something I ask myself with not just food and fitness, but everything. Does this decision align with my goals? And if it does, then great. If not, then say, okay, then I don't need to do it, or what's a better action? So more self-awareness is so key. And however you're able to bring more self-awareness, if you like to journal things and write down how you feel, if you like to be accountable in the group, if you like, checking in with someone that maybe your partner or a friend or someone at work, like more self-awareness, the better. And the more check-ins of your self-awareness, the better. So really checking in with yourself is huge. Bryn says, how does eating more over time help you lose weight as it balances out? I hear it a lot, but I don't understand it. So eating more over time help you lose weight because if you are eating less right now, your body's holding on to the weight that it has, and it's not going to budge. It's not going to allow it to lose weight. So when you increase your calories slowly over time, it's going to quote unquote balance out because you're boosting your metabolism. So your body will be able to maintain the weight that you're at while you're increasing calories. And then because of the increase of calories, you have more energy. And then in the gym, you'll be stronger and your body's responding to the workouts more efficiently. And then your body will either even out or lose the weight if that's the goal. Does that make sense in simple terms, right? So when we're not eating enough or we've been eating the same over time, I'm glad that makes sense. Our body just gets used to it. It's like if we use the same 5-pound dumbbell for 25 years, our shoulder would get used to it. It'd be like, hey, it's not going to budge, right? So our body gets used to a certain amount. And when we're working out a certain way, we're giving it new stimuli. We're saying, hey, I want to get stronger. Let's challenge our body. We've got to do the same with food. We've got to match it. So we give our body the fuel to respond in the way we want to. And the thing with increasing more, it's not like saying you've got to eat 1,000 more than you already are. It's usually only a small amount, like a couple hundred. And then you'll see the changes that you want in your body. When I was restricting years and years ago, like hardly eating any food, I was very skinny. But I was like skinny fat. I had no muscle on me. I could, right? So now I may look quote unquote leaner, but I'm heavier, like I weigh more, and I'm stronger, and I'm eating like quadruple the amount. So to have lean muscle, we've got to give it the fuel to support that muscle and to build that muscle. And a lot of women may think if I'm eating more calories, then I'm going to get bulky, or I've already got lean muscle. No, it's just going to give you more lean muscle and less fat. That's really what it's going to do. Okay. This is really, really good. Any other things coming up right now? Who has been filling out their chart? Because I go in every week and I'm like, okay, no one's updated. So I am updating. I go in and I give suggestions when you guys go in and show me what you're eating. So when I know what you're eating and how you're feeling, I know how to adjust it or to leave it. Okay. So this is the key for everyone now to fill in their chart. Like this Sunday night, no, maybe not this Sunday, Monday, I'm going to go in and look at everyone's and see that you've got an updated, at least an updated week, so I can give notes back and feedback. Okay. And if I don't give you new macros, it's not bad. It's like, let's keep up the consistency, because your body likes consistency. That's the main thing. I just updated now. Perfect. We'll be more consistent now. How do we update you on our goals from macro counting? So you can write notes in your chart, like on your, you can write notes. There's a note section and just let it be really long, or you can make a post in the group. Making a post in the group, if you're comfortable with everyone seeing it, you can totally do that. And yeah, update me on your goals. If everyone, I think I'll make a post, but you guys are all hearing it. I'd love for you guys to make an update in the group. Make a post, an update on everything, how you're doing with food, how your workouts are, how your stress is, how your sleep is, everything. And an update of what your current goals are, fitness goals. Like, is it strength? Is it weight loss? Is it both? Just to let's revamp this update. Let's revamp this update. And you know what? This just came to me. And I am just a person who likes to follow her intuition. So let's keep this group. I don't want to end this group in November. Let's keep it in all of October, all of November, all of December. Let's keep this group to the end of the year. And there's no extra like cost or anything. Let's do it like this. Okay? Because I really want you guys to hone in on the consistency. The consistency of this is so important. And I know it's the worst part, because we like to keep ourselves stimulated and we like new things and we like to switch it up. You are so welcome. And we'll do more of these Zoom calls on times that I know it's a small group to get a good group on, but tonight was really good that we got at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on here. We'll do more of these because these check-ins are really, really great. But use the group to stay accountable of just like how I'm feeling. This is what I'm eating. This is what's working well, what's not working well, to keep yourself self-aware. And then I can really see where you guys are at and where you want to be with your goals going forward. Cool. I'm not sure if you saw in the main CC group the changes that are happening. I know Amy's in it, Bren's in it, Hannah's doing the mastermind with me. So the continuation option is open for the CC in 2020. So with that, you don't end at the end of November. You stay in the current CC group until the end of the year as well, the fitness group. And then you join January, February, March, the next session for an alumni fee. Okay. And what's happening now is I'm only selling Courageously Confident one time a year. So you only have one chance. So for new people, they only get one chance to join, and it's at the beginning of the year. And for alumni, I really love for you guys to continue on. And going forward, this is, again, exciting new changes. Instead of alumni having to rejoin like 5 times a year, right now you join once at 555, or if you did the early bird, you already joined. And then at the end of March, if you want to stay in the group for the rest of the year, it's only $300 once for the rest of the year. That's literally insane. I can't even believe I'm saying that. That's insane. But it's going to be so smooth going forward. And the CC group is going to grow. The vibes are going to be really, really high. And it's just, the process is so much easier, right? Isn't that process so much easier? Because you join once, and then if you want to do continue, then you do the continue. That's really how it is going to go forward. Okay. Continuing for alumni, Yabrin, does that also include the macro group? So I think what we'll do is at the end of December, decide what we want to do going forward as a group. So I haven't thought of what the continuation would be for the macro group because I wasn't going to create a new one in January. If you guys wanted to continue it, we could, and I just would decide what that would look like, but we'll decide at the end of the year. Okay? So don't worry about that until then. Let's focus on the macro group in here now. But if you haven't joined the CC continuation and you want to, definitely do that, especially if you want to be in the macro group as well. Just the process going forward makes so much more sense than how it used to, and I really like it. So that's for you guys if you haven't heard it yet. Okay? So any other questions? How are you guys feeling after this chat? Do you like being on Zoom? Yes, you like the Zooms. Amazing. I prefer it. Okay. So we'll do Zooms going forward, unless it's like a bonus thing and I want to do a live, but we'll do Zooms going forward. It's been helpful. You're so welcome. And then what I'll do is I'll go ahead and make a poll in the group in the next few days for the next Zoom, because I know it can be hard for a small group to all get together at the same time. So I'll make sure that we know we can plan a day and time and well in advance for the next ones. Cool? Okay, this was awesome. I look forward to your updates in the group. And then I look forward to the next time we do this. I'm super excited. I love it. I love it too. Okay. If there's anything, if you have any other questions, you can message me if it's something personal about the process of joining things. But if not, I'll see you in the group and have a fabulous rest of your night. Okay? Bye, ladies.
Thanks. Bye.
You're welcome.